back with the penguins. Today we're gonna learn what happens if you give a penguin a mallet. Because we can pick it up as one of our tools. I assume it doesn't affect our movement like the spring did, but it might be something to do with how it interacts with the other animals. Oh, it definitely affects how it interacts with the destructible walls because it doesn't bounce and destroy the wall. It punches right through, which lets us get through the situations we had before where if there was a destructible wall and thin ground, we would fall in the water, but with the mallet we can punch through and avoid falling through the floor, so that's useful to know. And that takes us to Mjolnir, the hammer of the thunder god. Well, let's check it out. Okay, this is another Inception, but again, if it's the hammer, yes, we have lots of them with hammers here, and presumably we can utilize that. The gray animals are not selectable, so we only have the yellow and blue penguin to use here. The yellow penguin is already locked into nails, and while the blue penguin can pick up the hammer, mallet, whatever you want to call that, he has nowhere to go right now because the paths are not aligning for him. So let's check out those nails. Okay, we've got an actual level here with green and yellow. Now, I get the suspicion that the mallet will maybe knock the other animal out of the way. Yes, that's what I thought, because the way that was set up, it would be like, yeah, we could just go straight to green because that one would have stopped us, but it's not gonna work, which means we have to here avoid the mallet, but here we do want the mallet to get him out of our end spot. Yes, we're learning. Now we're free from nails. We can go into spin. Spin, spin, spin. Okay, we've got a penguin with a mallet, a penguin without a mallet. What will happen if we mallet one that's next to a wall? Okay, they get kicked out of the level as well. So that's something we may be able to utilize in some other more crazy ways later, but for now we just have to solve this level. So instead we can reshuffle them a bit, because here he's gonna push him out of the end level and not out of the level, right? It's just one square push. But now yellow can't get to his house, so that's not what we want. So we likely want to push him from the top when he's in that position. So here, without the mallet, we would go, yeah, just move the red penguin down and yellow then goes to his own place. But here the red penguin would push the yellow off, so we have to go up first, hit him with a mallet, and then we can send him back. And from here we go to Stomp. We're spinning, we're stomping. We've got only blue needs to end in his exit. Red and yellow are just here to assist, and we also have a walrus, which of course could just take the way out and be like, I'm not participating, but that's obviously not why they're here, right? They're gonna be helping us in some way. Because there aren't any walls at the top, and the way we have to get to the exit is by going through the top level. We're likely looking at doing something where one of the animals is in the top level, so we could to basically shove them out and we stay in the level. That wasn't it. That was just illustration purposes of we're gonna be shoving them out to stay in the level and not fall out. But we have to figure out the right configuration for doing so. I think the walrus can only go to here, at least to begin with. And then we have to set up the penguins so that one is in the middle line and one is at the top, so that we can use all of those animals. Basically, the blue penguin's gonna abuse them in order so that he can stop at the levels he wants to be. Yeah, so now he's in the top, he can go here and here. There we go. We have stomped. And from here we can bash. So let's bash. So here we've got the green penguin, the red penguin with a mallet, and then we have a gray penguin which we gotta control. Which means we're definitely gonna need to use the red penguin to bash the gray penguin out of here. To achieve that, we need to bash the green penguin about for a little bit to help us get the red penguin where he needs to be. But we have to be careful so that it's not by the wall so he doesn't get launched. But yes, now we can get this eye out. And now the green penguin still need to get some abuse in order to help the red penguin to get where he needs to be in terms of ending up in his desired place. So if we move them like this, I think, yeah, the red penguin needs to be on this side. Push him out, and now he can go around and get to his own exit. Success. We have bashed. Now we can go either left or right. So we have preservation or trail. Well, let's try preservation first. Okay, so we have two guys with mallets, and they're both in each other's exit points. Now, the red exit point is against the wall, which means you can end up in it independently, but the green exit point is not, which means he does need to push someone out to get there. Now, that's not gonna be all of it because we're not correctly aligned with where the wall is. And here, he's gonna bash the green guy out if I try to use this path up, so... Now the red guy is in the right alignment, but the green guy is not. We need to use a bit more bashing to get them where they need to be. But now they both have mallets, so they're both pushing each other out of place. So I think we're gonna need to basically bash the green guy about a little bit more in order to get the red penguin where he wants to be, which ideally they would end up in the column to the right of the green penguin currently. But this has to happen alongside getting the green penguin into his exit because he won't be able to get there himself. So we could do something like this, and that will get the red guy there. But then, yes, the green guy is stuck by himself and he cannot do this. So if we go in here, get the green guy into his slot. So the red penguin can now go around, push the green guy out again up top, but the green guy can now come from the left and push him to the right, which puts him in the right position to do this, and we can exit. We have preserved some penguins off to the trail. One mallet, two penguins. We've got walls that you can pass based on the color. So the red guy, if he goes left, he's out, but the green guy would stop there. So we can shove them like this. But yes, here the green guy is gonna exit completely, but we can go further, do this, let the red guy get stuck in there. Then we've swapped their places around. So now, yes, the green guy is only needed here as a stopper to let the red penguin get to where he needs to be. So he's gonna take a little bit more abuse, and then we're done. Similarly to how with the spring we were playing escort, here we're playing hit the penguin for a bit of stoppage along the way. And here we have march. Penguins are marching. Okay, we've got a red penguin, a blue walrus, and a gray penguin we can't control, but there's a gray exit point, which means we have to bash him into that exit because he won't move on his own, right? So someone's gonna have to come from the top with the mallet and shove him down there. But now we have to make a decision on whether the walrus or the red penguin gets the mallet. Obviously, it's a lot easier for the red penguin to get the mallet, but it will immediately remove the gray penguin. So that is not the answer we want. At least not from this side. We can move the walrus here, and then the red penguin can pick up the mallet and not remove him. Now we're able to push the walrus up and then push the gray penguin like this, and that works, except for the fact that the red penguin cannot return now, which means we likely need the walrus to stay on the board for a little bit longer. Because then he could be used to let the red penguin go where he needs to go. But if we do this trick again, we can slowly move the red penguin down to here to then let the walrus sit on this side to then stop the red penguin from going off the exit. But still not quite what we want, because that doesn't put the red penguin above the gray penguin. But from here, if we move the walrus down and then get the red penguin here, and then we have to do that thing where we move them bit by bit again in order to get where we need to be. Can the walrus escape by himself now? No, we cannot. We have to actually come in from the other side with the red penguin. So if he bash him now, the walrus can come back and then jump out of the water. Okay, we have marched, that's for sure. And now we can smash. I wonder now that the yellow penguin is locked into the level. Okay, I can push him, but yes, he's gonna get smashed out of it. So mallet overrides the level locks. Okay, well, let's go smash. We've got yellow, we've got green with mallet, we got walrus by himself, and we have one of those tile that makes you stuck. I do wonder if you get stuck, does the mallet get you out? Yes, it does. Yes, we can free the stuck animals using the mallet, but then obviously the mallet holder is themselves stuck in that slot. So I think we will want the walrus to basically get mallet out of here when we're ready for it. If we get the green guy here, we can get everyone moving around, but we basically want them to swap orders because we want the yellow penguin to go down there first. So we can push the walrus with the mallet and get the yellow into green, and yes, then if we go around... no, I was like, oh, we can make them swap places, but no, because there is not a wall on that side. Which means we will have to do more walking around, I think. I do wonder if we have to get the walrus stuck then, for a little bit at least, and then we kick him out with the mallet, because that would basically let us maybe align the penguins better. So if we swap them around like this, we can get the walrus stuck. We can get the walrus stuck here, and then the yellow penguin is able to do this, go to his exit. But that's still not it, obviously. We need more steps. Because we could bash the walrus out of here, but then obviously the green penguin's stuck, so that doesn't help. Because this would work if the walrus was in the green circle right now, because he would both get kicked out and help the green penguin move. If we get the walrus here, and then the green penguin can push him so that the green penguin is down here, then the walrus can go in here. The green penguin can go up or push the walrus, but we still need to help the yellow penguin get down here. So we can do it if we get the yellow penguin up here, then the green penguin can shove him around again, and then he can come here and go down, and then the green penguin can push the walrus out and go to his own exit. We've successfully smashed. Okay, from here I think we can move this guy down, and then this penguin could go here to break. So he's now stuck, but the blue penguin could break him out, but then he goes out through the wall, so we will need to consider this later. For now, we can just go into the level. We've got a green penguin with a mallet. He cannot go to his exit by himself because both the walls that border it are the breakable walls, and with the mallet you just go straight through. we've got a walrus, which could theoretically go in there and help, but the problem is that if he gets in there like this, he destroys that wall, and therefore then when he's pushed, he just gets stuck instead of being kicked out of the level like he wants to be. So that is not the entire answer we want here. We can do some more bashing like this so that he breaks the top wall, and then if we come from this side, yes, then the temporary wall counts still as wall that causes the mallet to push them out of the level instead of just through to the next tile. So we have successfully done this, but yes, here now, if we free the yellow penguin from the break level, everything goes wrong because the level selections are in themselves levels, and so because there is a yellow exit, the yellow penguin must remain on the board. The blue penguin, I don't think they do. I think if the blue penguin gets out, we're still good, right? The level doesn't fail, but then we likely lose some steerability around the place. So the yellow penguin cannot go here because he will fail on the breakable floor. We will need the blue penguin to do something there. We could also have the yellow penguin be the one with the mallet. And so then we're able to do some more walkarounds like this, which then means the yellow penguin can go all the way through and shove those guys about. And that will get him to his exit, but obviously we don't want to do that yet, right? We want to play more of the levels that we have here. Yeah, so here we learned that if we push an animal that has a mallet on them and therefore is able to push others, then it will cascade down the chain instead of pushing the first guy out that's on the board. And so here it's the final walrus that gets pushed out instead of the first penguin. So from here we can open this through, but then there's just a hole in the ground and therefore no one can come across. Okay, so we've got a few levels remaining. There are some under the walruses on the left side, so we have to figure out a way to bash through without basically ending the level selection because the yellow penguin exits. We can get through here and then, yes, get to this frozen level like this. So we've got, yeah, that one penguin that's gray and we can't move him, but we can bash him. And then a walrus that will need to be pushed out. So doing it like this, he gets kicked out, but we still need to find a way to get ourselves where we need to be. We could shove him, but then he doesn't exit, yeah? So likely this involves some level of pushing the gray penguin about to adjust the rest of our animals to where we want them to be. Like in this case, the gray penguin gets pushed out completely, so we want to do it more like this. So I think ideally we would have this gray penguin like left, right, top or bottom of the exit point, because then if the walrus is in the exit, then pushing him against that gray penguin means he will get shoved out of the level. If we do what we did, but we also stick the walrus in this corner, that should, yes, stop the gray penguin over there. Then the walrus can come here, the red penguin can come here, and he can shove the walrus out. And we're done. The frozen penguin still celebrates when we win, so he's clearly not just a penguin statue, he just doesn't want to be controlled by us. Okay, now to get this level near the blue penguin, we need to come through the top with a mallet. And the mallet likely needs to be on the yellow penguin. They basically need to almost swap positions so that we can shove the blue penguin out of the level if we want to, without causing the whole thing to fail, because if we shove the yellow penguin out, that's it. So actually, correction to that. Because if we shove the yellow penguin out, it does say we failed the level selection, but we can continue going. And yes, we can go and select the level, so I was wrong the first time, and this is totally a valid strategy for selecting levels while not finishing the level selection level. we've got 2 penguins already with hammers and then a 3rd hammer available for the green guy. He's gonna have to basically pick it up as he's going, bash through that wall, bash through the gray penguin. And that's how he that's basically his finishing move. But obviously it's not gonna be that simple, right? There's gonna be probably a bunch of swapping involved to get the red and the yellow guy where they need to be, because otherwise they're just gonna shove each other out of the level. We may even need to invoke a chain reaction here. So this is again not the final setup, but if we use the yellow here, we get to shove the green guy, which then grabs the hammer, goes through the wall, shoves the gray guy, and especially with this level being called Propagation, right? That seems to call to something like that going on. But that would mean we have to get the green penguin in the red circle, the red penguin in the yellow circle, and the yellow penguin where it currently is, and then he's gonna just shove the whole row out. So if we move the green guy here, we can then get the red guy in that, but then we still need to get the green guy in that red circle. So we need to get the green penguin into the red circle, the red penguin into the yellow circle, and then the yellow penguin to the right of them. The difficulty is, of course, the red and yellow penguin will just shove each other out. So we need to use that green penguin to stop them in the right positions. And from here, we can get them all into a line. And then if the yellow penguin does a shove, everyone should get into position. There we go. We have propagated. Now we're in this broken state and we're gonna have to reset anyway or undo because we're kind of stuck in that area. The next couple levels will be that we have to get the blue penguin through to the left side with the mallet. To get that done, that's a little bit more complicated getting the yellow penguin there because the yellow penguin will fall out of the level if he's pushed up from here, right? And then the blue is stuck, so it doesn't help us that much. But the yellow can come up here, and then if the blue shoves him, he's able to get down here and again start pushing those guys out. And then we're in PNA. What does PNA stand for? Okay, so here we have 2 gray penguins and they both have to end up in their respective exits, as well as the green and red, and we only have 1 mallet on the red. So of course we could do this to get that penguin up there, and then we have to approach him from the side to push him further. But we also have to make sure we're not messing up this penguin to the right of us, because that will cause him to get stuck against the wall in a corner, and then we're in trouble. So as always, there is more steps required, potentially using the green penguin to help the red penguin get where it needs to be. We can't just do this, right? Push that guy in there, but that means when we push this penguin here, we won't be able to push it from the side to go further. So we almost want to push him down slightly first to make way for us. We can use the green penguin to block some things off. So then we're able to do this. Then if we use the green penguin again, we can readjust where the red guy is. But yeah, we still want to get, I think, the green penguin on the same row as the other 2 so that they can see and stop the gray penguin from getting pushed too far. So if we do this, he's gonna go here. Then we put the red one here, green guy here, red guy here. Then we just need to get the red under the gray, push that guy out. Still need to get the red penguin where he wants to be. So just a bunch of shoving penguins around to get everyone to position. I do wonder if we also need to use the gray penguins first to align things even more before we're able to fully get rid of them from the board. Because now we can use the gray guy to get the green guy into the red exit. Which would let us stop the red penguin there, but obviously we still need to then have a way to get everyone else into position. Then another thing we can do is push the gray penguin further into the level. Possibly help us with some adjustments. Okay, and that gets the both red and gray penguins in. And then the green can just go by himself. There we go. And from there we can just keep pushing to get to Wipeout. We've got a level full of walruses that we can't move and just this one red penguin with a mallet. And we have to account for the fact that the penguin has to end up back in here. So we're gonna have to do it. Yeah, this is not gonna work because we can't get out after that. Nor is this. So here we're gonna have to push all the walruses out by just getting them shoved and stuck off the edge. But we then have to return to the middle, which means somehow we'll also probably have to shove a walrus into the middle first before we push too many of them out. So doing something like this gets a walrus into the middle of the level, but from here we're kind of stuck because yeah, we would have to immediately shove him out, which is not helpful. But from here we're able to do a bit more, although now we might get stuck in the blocking cloud. So realistically there is only two walruses we can push into the middle, right? The left one and the right one by going around. Now the main difference to the left and right side is that on one side we have the blocking hole and on the other side we have an extra walrus. So I assume that will play some role in whether we want the left or right here. But so far, what I'm mostly getting is I can get all the walruses out, but then I'm either just me on an empty board and not in the middle, or me stuck in the hole where I cannot move. So this feels like almost it, other than if I push this guy out, I'm out of line. If I push those guys out, I'm left with one walrus. So close, but not quite. So expanding on that, we can clear out the top first. And then we're able to, yeah, break it down to just the one walrus that's in the middle. And when we push him, we're in and he's out. And that's Wipeout. So now we're down to what we've had before, where there's just one level with no apparent access to it, since it's not connected to the rest of the board. But we can finish this level selection by doing the tricks we've learned. So that's it. That's in theory success, except there's extra levels there. Now, we can obviously make them fly by going through with the mallet, similarly to how we could use this spring and infinite loop. But yes, it then remains the question of like, would they even end up on that island or in the water? Is that even possible to stage right now? Because again, there could be some sort of extra rule meta layer that I just don't understand yet. And so it's there to tempt us, but we will need to know more before we can get there. Because to even set that up, I would need to basically get the yellow penguin with a mallet down here and then the blue penguin down here, and basically have the yellow penguin shove him and see whether that makes the blue penguin jump over the wall and over the water and onto the land. But it just feels like he would probably just land in the water instead. And to be honest, at this point, I'm not even entirely sure how to set that up, so it might just be something we get back to once we have learned more. For now, we can exit back to Inception, because that means so far we've actually just completed 2 of the internal levels of it, right? There is still 2 more here. Again, 1 enclosed within a wall, and we still have to complete it by getting all the free penguins into the bottom section, including the gray one we cannot move. So we can have obviously the red guy push him about, but more steps needed to make him not just end up in the water, especially because we cannot control him. We can use the blue penguin here by getting him to position, and then the gray penguin will stop. But then obviously if we just do this, he ends up getting kicked out again. But there may be more to do with the blue and the red in order to reach the extra levels here. So we can do this, and we can access foreboding, but that's a whole new level selection for us to resolve, and so we will get into it next time. Let me know in the comments, how do you think this penguin journey is going? And if you enjoy my content, consider liking or subscribing. Thank you to channel members for supporting the channel, and I'll see you soon on another adventure.